Well, hey, everybody. What a beautiful day it is. It's March 5th, 2017. This is Michael Watson. This is the IACT IMDHA Presenter Series, and we have got a great show for you tonight. Our guest this evening is Richard Nongard, and I'm going to introduce him to you shortly. And we'll be talking about how to get new clients from the internet, a topic that's really worthy of our attention and something that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. So before we get started, I have just a couple announcements that I need to make to you. As you know, we are preparing for the HypnoExpo 2017 on beautiful Daytona Beach on May 19th through the 21st. And there are pre- and post-conference programs before and after the weekend. So in this series of Sunday evening programs, we've been interviewing the people that are doing those programs before and after the conference. So also be sure to check out all the detailed information at HypnoExpo2017.com. And you can read about all the events at the conference and the special extra programs that are available in the days just before and after. And then when you have decided what you want to do, which programs you want to take and what you want to see, you can just register at the website, and then you can make your hotel and airline reservations, and you will be all set. We are recording this program this evening. It will be posted tomorrow on the members forum on the IACT IMDHA Mind Matters forum. It will also be posted on that website, HypnoExpo2017.com. At the top of the page, there is a little drop-down menu that says Media, and if you click on it, you will see the Hypnocaster. And the Hypnocaster has programs stretching way back, but every one of the Sunday night programs that we've done are there. Another place to see it is the tab just next to it, which is Conferences, and that has the catalog for the conference, but it also, down that list, you'll see the word Teleconferences, and that refers to this series as well. If you click on there, you'll get links where you can see these programs all over again. If you just haven't had enough the first time, you can really get it down, and you might be able to send the links off to some friends or people that weren't able to be here tonight and would like to share the material with them. So you can get CEUs if you're a member of IACT IMDHA for being on this call tonight. It's an hour for an hour. And in order to claim your CEUs, you just go out to the website for IACT or the website for IMDHA, whichever you're a member of. And when you log in with your member ID and log in, it'll open up a little box, and a part of that thing, that's all your membership information. Part of it is a place where you can list the CEUs that you're claiming. So just put in there that you attended on this date 1 hour of a teleconference for the HypnoExpo, and that's all you need to do, and they will take care of that for you. I also want to let you know that next week I will be talking to Melissa Tiers about addictions, so be sure and come back on next Sunday night. And on next Tuesday night, we also have the virtual chapter of IACT IMDHA meets online at the same login that you're using tonight. That also happens at 8 o'clock, and in just the same way if you're interested in that. But Melissa Tiers will be our guest next week talking about her program at the conference. So now I need a breath. But it's time for me to introduce to you Richard Nongard, our guest for this evening. And Richard is among the most qualified professionals in the Southwest, and he has authored many books, and videos, and professional educational materials, including hypnosis textbooks. He holds some advanced degrees on both religion and counseling, and has been trained in the USA, in Canada, and in Europe. And I understand that he is the head honcho of the ICBCH, which is the International Certification Board, pardon me, for clinical hypnotherapists. He's a Chicago area native, recently relocated from Texas to Las Vegas, Nevada. So good evening, Richard.
Good evening, Michael. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm really looking forward to talking to you tonight. It's
great to see people here from all over the world. Australia, New Zealand, Miami. Probably somebody in Europe is awake early, and that's great. And for people all around. So that's pretty cool. That was a great thing about the IMDHA convention the last couple of years when I've been there, is getting to see people from all over the world that I only get to interact with online.
You bet. You bet. And what could be a better place than to do it in Daytona Beach?
You know, I was just in Daytona a couple of weeks ago, and it was awesome, and it wasn't even warm yet. And so by May, it's going to be even more awesome.
Yeah, I'm 45 minutes away, so I can attest to it. It's getting better every day. So we're going to be ready. So Richard, the reason we're talking to you tonight, among not only because you're just a marvelous guy to talk to, but is because you are doing a one-day course at the HypnoExpo on how to attract new clients from the internet. And that course is on Friday, May 19th, by the way, I might point out for folks listening. So it looks like it's going to be a really interesting thing. And something I'd just like to tell you to start this off is that here's what I remember I've been doing hypnosis for 35 years and stuff. So I've got, various times in my history when various media was available, you know, the field keeps changing and changing in terms of how we can get the word out to people and get access. So we had no internet. And I was remembering the other day just wandering around the Haight-Ashbury district of San Francisco, taping signs to street posts to tell people, you know, that I had a seminar for them, or, you know, or that I was looking for clients or whatever it was. And of course, mailing out, you know, off of a regular mailing list, newsletters every month, you know, and all of those kind of things. So gosh, what a different world we're in, and quite confusing and complex, I think.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting. You and I have been doing this almost as long. I think I've been doing this coming up on 30 years here. And I, too, taped signs to the lamppost, and I, too, did postal mailouts with my bulk rate permit number 2000. And I, too, bought classified ads in newspapers and things like that. Here's the thing that people need to remember. While it is entirely possible to get clients from the internet, it is also entirely to get clients the old way as well. And one of the things I see people doing is being all excited about the ability to be a lazy entrepreneur and to get new clients from the internet. And as a result, they stop doing those other things that also work. So just the other day, I was actually a psychologist in Chicago, and she was wanting to know, you know, wow, I'm not getting as many referrals from the internet as I had hoped. What should I do? And because the internet has trained us to be lazy entrepreneurs, I think she expected my response to be, yeah, we'll build another page that says this. And my answer was, well, have you printed 1,000 trifold brochures, and have you gone to all of the offices in your building and said, hey, you know, I'm Frida the therapist. My office is on the 6th floor. I just wanted to find out what you offer to individuals and let you know a little bit about our services. And then after you got done doing all the offices in your building, did you take the leftover brochures and do the building next door and the building on the north side also? Mm-hmm. She responded as if I was asking her to do something that she had never heard about before. And so while the internet brings us a great opportunity to get clients in a new way, if you're old like you and me, we shouldn't forget about those old ways because they're effective. And we should be adding internet marketing to our repertoire of marketing strategies rather than replacing marketing strategies with getting clients from the internet.
Sure. Well, but that's one of the reasons that it's so cool that we've got somebody like you out there, because the truth of the matter is making the transition. I mean, there are some people who just grew up on the internet, you know,
right.
Making that transition from the things that we used to do to even what there is available to do now is really confusing for some people. They have no idea because, you know, if you put a web page up, nobody's going to go to it unless somebody knows that it's there. And it doesn't occur to them. They think I've just got to get on the web. I've just got to get on the web. And certainly there's much more to it than that. And again, it's nice that there's some people with some expertise, because now you got to be 6 people in your business. You got to be a webmaster. You've got to be, you got to do the job that your job is, like being a hypnotherapist, for example. But there's all these other little things that it seems like we need to know about, unless there's a resource person that we can count on to help us with those things.
Well, and that's what I've done for, going on 30 years now. I opened my first private practice office in 1990 on Research Boulevard in Austin, Texas. And I literally spent all the money I had to open the office, and literally nobody came Okay, the phone didn't ring. People didn't beat down the office door.
Yeah.
And after a few months of really struggling, probably 6 months, I ended up closing the office. And that was when I realized that I needed to be more than a therapist. I also had to be a marketing and a business person. So that's when I started reading all the business books, the marketing books, and all those sorts of things. So when I reopened the private practice, I think probably 2 years later, I was very successful, and I've been successful since then. But with marketing and the internet, we have really competing principles here. And principle number one is you can do a lot yourself. And because of that, people think they should do it all themselves. So I will build my own web page, and I will, write my own copy, all those sorts of things. And what happens is we are amateur web designers. And so we actually create an amateur website. Well, our clients have no way to judge whether or not we're a good hypnotist or not, other than what does our website look like. And so how do you attract clients from the internet? You build a brilliant web page. That's probably step number one. Mm-hmm. And that website has to look as good as your expertise. And we expect our clients to hire an expert to help them solve a problem. But I meet a lot of hypnotists who won't hire an expert to help them build a website. And I think it's, unless you've spent a lot of time and a lot of years doing web development as a side project, my advice, if you want to get professional fees from potential hypnosis clients, step number one is hire a professional yourself to help you build an awesome web page. But what you said is absolutely true. Building a web page isn't enough. Build it and they will come is not true. Mm-hmm. And so then we have to figure out what to do with our web page to generate traffic, and traffic that converts. And probably issue number one is I do see people build an awesome web page, and they even have awesome content on that web page. And what they don't have any way of doing is interacting with the people who come to visit their web page. So they might not even know how many people come to the web page, but even if they do know how many people come to the web page, they don't know who those people are. And so every web page has to be interactive. In other words, there has to be a way for a person to participate in that website, to ask for something in exchange for their email, or in some other way interact with, whether it's a Facebook pixel for cookie marketing and those kind of things. Because if we build an awesome web page, we still can't convert clients unless we have a way to deliver our message specifically to them. So we not only have to know about web development, we have to know about Facebook pixeling and retargeting. We need to know about email collection, and really all of those things. But it's not that complex, because once you get everything in place, the good news is it's largely in place forever. And my first website I had in 1999, it was www.galstar.com/Nongard. That was my first one. So I've had a web page ever since 1999, which I guess is, again, going on 20 years of having a website. And I usually do a complete scrap the whole damn thing and start over again every 5 to 7 years. So the good news is there's a lot of work up front, just like any other business. If you opened up a pizza place, you would expect to spend a couple months, painting the building and polishing the ovens and placing the furniture and, refrigerating your cheese or whatever it is you do to open up a pizza place. Well, you spend a couple months with your hypnosis business, and the good news is it's largely there for 5, 6, 7 years before the internet sort of changes and you have to start over again. It's
funny as you say this. I actually remember my first website, and it had to be, it had to be like by about 1995 or something. But at that particular time, what the web was a whole lot of gray pages with words on them. There weren't, we weren't putting pictures on them, or at least graphics were very limited. It was really nothing but text on a screen, and there weren't designers to do it for you. You just had to learn how to do HTML so that you could write it in code to get it up there in the first place.
When I go to the Wayback Machine and look at Nongard.com from the year 2000, I find an orange website with black and blue text. So it looks like an orange got beat up in a fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was what we had back then, and it's taken me a long time to recognize the importance of graphics, the importance of a sales message. I see a lot of people who build a website and they give great information. But here's error number one if you're trying to build a practice. Look at your blog post. Did you spend time writing a lot of great information that's actually useful to people? At the bottom of your blog post, did you have a call to action? A call to action is, of course, and if you've benefited from this blog post, call Michael or call Richard at 555-1212, or send me an email that then has a form where they can send you an email for more information. You collect their email address. Is that on every single blog post you have? If the answer to that is no, then you just have an electronic brochure. You don't have a tool for converting a reader on the internet to somebody who's actually going to make an appointment.
Sure. Yeah. That's right.
So every web page we have, not just a blog post, every web page should have at the bottom of it and in the text those calls to action, and call me at 555-1212 and let's schedule your free consultation or whatever your unique selling proposition is. Maybe it's for a weight loss assessment or whatever it is that we're doing, or just simply to schedule your first appointment.
Yeah.
Put all that misery behind you. People only do what we ask them to do, and if we never ask them to call us and we never ask them to contact us, then they never will call us. They never will contact us.
Yeah. Richard, one of the things I think that's important about your class and that I want to stress for people that are listening is that while you're telling these stories, what we realize is that, we've gone through a whole lot of experiences. As you said, there was a time when, we were taping things to the light posts, and there were also times when we were sitting there and nobody was coming in and we just didn't know what to do. New folks starting out don't have to struggle for 5 or 10 years because it's already been done for them by people who learned from those struggles, yourself being one of them, and can take the benefit of that learning and and tell people how not to have those same experiences.
Yep, absolutely. Radio ads is probably the perfect example of that. In the past, I've done a lot of radio advertising. I don't do any radio advertising any longer because media has changed. In fact, you go to a radio station, they're going to try to sell you internet ads. And it's a really bad idea to buy advertising from a radio station for an internet web page. It's just a horrible idea. But that's what they try to sell you because people have a perceived added value, and it's really a horrible value because it's not radio advertising.
Mm-hmm.
But times change, and for a while Google was giving us a great way to buy radio advertising through auctions of unused airtime. And back in the mid 2000s, 2006, 2007, I was buying radio ads on Google, which you no longer can do, for my hypnosis practice, and people were calling me day in and day out. So each unique time presents unique opportunities to take advantage of certain ways to attract new people from the internet. The cheap radio ads from the internet are a thing of the past. But what we have now is we have some really sophisticated email collection tools. And that gives us the ability. You mentioned direct mail. I've done a lot of direct mail. So in the past, I would create a list for my newsletter of people who were existing clients or in the area that expressed interest. I would take it to the mailbox and I would mail it out. And each one of those would cost me between 50 cents and $1 to mail. Well, now I have the ability to collect email addresses through list building techniques. In fact, this week, I have spent about $250 of my budget to create new lists, and I have about 300 names that I've collected this week, or email addresses from my list building activities. So I spent about the same amount of money per contact that I used to with a direct mail. Mm-hmm. But with a direct mail, they would get it in the mail, they would read it, and they would throw it away. And if I wanted to contact them again, I had to spend another $1 for another mail out. But now with email marketing, they've given me their email address in exchange for something of value. And I now have the ability, maybe it cost me $1 to get that lead. But the reality is I can email them forever without ever spending another $1. And that's a real powerful way to be able to get people to your office. I have a chiropractor friend. He wanted to well, he's not a great business person, even though he's a really good chiropractor. And so I said, well, give me all your customer or all your patient emails. Have your office round them up. It's on his intake form. And I helped him create an Aweber account. We dumped all the emails in there. And it happened to be in August, so it was back to school time. So I had him send an email to all of his existing patients saying, hey, back to school physicals are only $25. And he spent 3 days doing nothing but back to school physicals and pocketed about $1,500.
Sure. Yeah.
And couldn't have done that without email.
You know, it's interesting when you think about advertising through email, and something that I'd love to hear your take on. I know a whole lot of people who back in the day particularly would get stuck at the very beginning before they even had their website, maybe even before there were websites. But I can remember this one fella who 2 years after he had completed his hypnosis trainings, he was still working on his business card. He was going to get his practice going, you know, once he got his business card done. And then, as I recall, he finally got his business card done, and then he was working on his brochure. And there was always something that was just stopping him from being able to say, okay, now I'm ready to start. But on the other hand, I used to work for a company in the UK that you know about when I worked for Salad. And Jamie Smart had amassed an email list of 80,000 active participants, and there were people who really wanted to hear from him because he was putting out good information every time he mailed them. You know, when the company sold, it sold to a new guy who was so afraid of sending too much email to people on the list that he didn't send any for over a year. And then when he did, he sent out a survey to them asking, how often do you want to receive mail from us? Once every 6 months, or once every, you know, and he was going to collect this data and then decide what to do. And so consequently, there was never any email promotion done with any effectiveness for the company at all.
You know, email is real simple, okay? Your clients want to hear from you, whether they're for a class or whether they're hypnosis clients or whether they're pizza clients. Right. What they don't want to hear from people is what you just said. You know, always sales message, the emails have to have some value, okay? Right. There has to be something in it for them. And they'll want to hear from you, and they'll stay on the list. And if they don't want to be on the list because they get too much email, that's fine. Everyone can always opt out. And you don't have to worry about, oh, somebody dropped off of my email list. You don't have to worry about that because they already know you. They know where to find you in the future. So you don't have to take it personally. It doesn't matter if somebody left your list. It just means for whatever reason they're not interested in receiving your email. Maybe you're not interesting enough in your email. Maybe you're not providing value in the email. Maybe they just have too much clutter. It doesn't really make a difference. They still know where to find you, and they will. I was looking at one of my lists today. I have over 3,000 people who've opted out of one of my mailing lists. But yet I still receive correspondence from those people on a regular basis. Not all of them, but many of them. I recognize their email addresses and their names. They still know where to find me. Yeah. So email, you know, email is, again, it's optional. It's, you know, for example, if I'm a hypnotist in private practice, I might offer a free MP3. So try Hypnosis Online right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let me know where to send you your MP3. You collect that email address from, you know, 1,000 people in Miami, Florida, if you live in Miami, for example, over a period of a year or whatever the time period is. But I have 1,000 people in your geographic area who are interested in hypnosis. Well, send them all an email. Let them know once a week or once a month about hypnosis and how they can use it. You're going to start booking appointments from that. If you're emailing them every day, that's probably different. You know, some lists that's appropriate for, but once a week, once a month for probably most of us, and what we're doing is probably what our customers want to hear from us. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly okay. And if they don't want to hear from you, they'll let you know by clicking that button that says, I'm going to opt off the list. But the rest of them do want to hear from you. So keep sending them something of value, something that's relevant, and they'll stay on the list forever. Yeah.
But let me run the bad side by you. The downside, or actually, and I'm sure that it's not. I'm waiting to hear what you might have to say about this. But, you know, the internet can be unforgiving to some people as well, in the sense that that if you get a client who, for whatever reason, is unhappy with what you do, and they go out on Yelp and they post, something bad about about you or about your work or about your services, wow, that stuff stays around. And so I understand one of the things that that you suggested we might be able to talk about is how to defend your reputation online.
Yeah, we call it reputation management. And sometimes you have no control over what other people say about you on the internet. What you do have control over is what people see about you on the internet. And if there are negative and derogatory things that are partially true or untrue, because what I've found, whether it's a review for a hotel, a restaurant, a hypnotist, whatever else, Amazon reviews, people only write reviews when they're upset. People don't write reviews because they're happy. Okay.
Yeah.
There's exceptions to that, but people are motivated when they're angry. So, your angry client is 10 times more motivated to leave a Yelp review than somebody who is completely, totally satisfied.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple things you need to do. You need to encourage those satisfied clients to leave those reviews, but you also need to know how to do search engine optimization if there's derogatory information about you in such a way that that's not the predominant or the first thing that is Googled. And it's always amazing to me. I tend to be a Googler. I like to know what's out there. So when people were signing in, I was actually Googling every phone number that popped up. And I always Google everybody's phone number. I get calls on my phone in front of my computer. I Google it to see who it is before I answer it. But you need to know what people are seeing. And if people aren't seeing good things, you need to figure out how to get the good things to the top. And there are a number of different strategies for doing that. You probably don't have control over the websites where they've left negative things, which means you're going to have to write and provide places that have a greater weight in Google algorithms with accurate or positive information. And knowing how to do that is really, really important. But I'm amazed at the stuff that I see about some hypnotists when I Google them. And it's not the majority of them, it's just some of them. I'm just shocked at the negative information that's out there. And they literally made no effort to create search engine results that show more positive information near the top.
Yeah, I had to work to take that one arrest off whenever they ran my name, and
that's right. But you're lucky. See, you're Michael Watson, and I imagine there's a lot of Michael Watsons. And my problem is I'm Richard Nongard, and there are only two of us. Me and my son.
Yeah, so your name follows you.
Right. And I remember, my son was growing up when I started to become interested in, SEO. And my threat as a parent of a teenager was, if you do anything to screw up my Google results, you're in big trouble. So you have to behave, because you're Richard Nongard also, and you cannot end up, in the news, because people are going to pull that up. So I'm happy to report I was just with him all weekend. He's a sergeant in the U.S. Army. He is a stellar American citizen and an awesome guy who will only be in the news for all of the right reasons. So
lovely. So if people look you up, they'll see really great stuff. Thanks to that son of yours.
Because he's a sergeant in the Army, he tries to stay off of the internet. So if you Google Nongard, you're going to get me.
So I'm sure all of this is stuff you're going to talk about in your one-day class, and you're going to explain to people more about search engine optimization and how to get their listings up towards the top of the list, right?
Absolutely, but I'm also going to talk about social media. And
that's what I wanted to ask you about.
I see people who are so frustrated by social media because they thought, well, this is going to be a great free way to get clients from the internet. And it actually is if you do it in the correct way. But what I see people is spending a lot of time and effort on social media and doing it wrong. And I see things like, let me give some examples. On their Facebook wall, they post, and this week, get 10% off of a hypnosis session. First of all, nobody goes to a hypnotist because of a percent off. Second, 10% off or 20% off is nothing. You don't buy that pillow that's 10% off or 20% off unless you need the darn pillow. So that's a stupid sale. But I see that all the time. People putting sale prices on hypnosis services on their Facebook wall, and then they wonder, why don't I get anybody? Well, one, they devalued their service. Two, it's not an effective way of selling a service, etc. So the other thing I see people do is I see people create a like page, right? Like my Tulsa Hypnosis Center or Las Vegas Hypnosis Center, which is actually Kevin Cole, not me. He's Las Vegas Hypnosis Center. Like my Hypnosis Center page, and then, but why would anybody like a Hypnosis Center page? Think about it for a minute. No wonder you don't have any likes and there isn't any traffic. Okay, so social media is about community, culture, and identity. It's not about hypnosis.
Yeah.
So how do you leverage social media to your advantage? Well, you create a page called Miami is Awesome, or a page called Tulsa is Awesome, or Las Vegas is Awesome. And you post all kinds of awesome things about Las Vegas, whether it's the weather or concerts that are coming up or things that people can see or stellar business leaders or awesome students, and you celebrate your community, right? Nice. Now remember, I'm the guy who owns the Hypnosis Center in the city, but I've just created a page that celebrates my community. Right? And I've become a community organizer, a community activist. I've become a participant in that community. Once a week or once a month or once a day, I come in and say, and by the way, one of the reasons why the community is awesome is because Richard Nongard does great hypnosis right here, and you can make an appointment.
Sure. Yeah.
So you promote yourself. So but you have to look at what social media is about. People aren't. Why would I like it? I occasionally get these things, notifications on Facebook. My friend Michael Watson liked Walmart. And my response to that is, why the hell would Michael Watson like Walmart? What possessed him enough to click the like button on Walmart's page? Okay? Nobody likes the Hypnosis Center or the Psychotherapy Center. But guess what? They like Tulsa is Awesome, or they like healing from Raynaud's syndrome, or they like pain-free living, or they like whatever community you can develop. They like stepping into abundance. They like, my buddy Rob Banks has a page, Law of Attraction Affirmations, with 500,000 people on it.
Wow.
Right? Because people love Law of Attraction Affirmations, but they don't like, Richard's Hypnosis Center at 5th and Elm Street.
Yeah,
so
that's fantastic.
To create community in social media in order to leverage social media to take advantage of the potential reach that we have. But when you do that, the reach is phenomenal. So as part of a project to measure this, we actually created a Tulsa is Awesome page. I'm no longer in Tulsa. The page is still there. I turned it over to some guys who are real interested in nonprofit management, and they still celebrate the city on that page, Jeff and Scott Gaffin. And so it really is a community page that I've left behind. But one of the things was that we reached 3 million people. Remember, this is a city with 500,000 people. We reached 3 million people in a geographic area with a message focusing on the community. And that gave me an opportunity to let potentially 3 million people know about the services that I provided.
That is fantastic. In fact, that's worth the price of admission right there. So,
you're spinning it, and then I see Facebook ads. Facebook ads are tough. Okay, should you buy Facebook ads? The answer to that is probably yes. I buy Facebook ads. I looked at my account the other day. I spent $8,700 on Facebook ads. I'm buying Facebook ads. Advertising works when you write the right kind of ads. So let me give you a couple of examples of some things I'll talk about. We're always afraid, since I'm paying for advertising, that if I don't tell everybody about everything I do, then I'm going to miss somebody. So they say, hey, call Richard the hypnotist because I do smoking cessation, weight loss. I help people stop chasing cars. I can find lost objects. I do pain control, anxiety management, fear of flying, overcome your, nail biting habit, blah, 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 blah. But that's not the nature of advertising. The nature of advertising is we got one opportunity to ask people to look inside of themselves to create a response. That's NLP 101, Transnervational Search.
Sure.
So good advertising, whether it's on the radio or print or whether it's on a Facebook ad, ask people to look inside of themselves and come up with an answer. And the answer is to click here. So I have stopped in my Facebook advertising selling anything. Can I give an example here of a page?
Yeah.
I'm going to put it in the box. This is a page that I'm actually advertising right now. This is not for a private practice. This is for, obviously, for subliminal science and hypnosis training. But the page, I'll put it here in a little chat box just so you can see what I'm doing. It is titled Medical Hypnosis Resource Page. And I'm running a Facebook ad that asks people to go to this page. And when they go to this page, they don't have to give me a credit card. They don't have to sign up for anything. What they're going to get is a hypnosis script. They're going to get a 30-minute talk on pediatric hypnosis. They're going to see a demonstration of hypnosis and NLP for allergy patterns. They're going to get a downloadable MP3 for an emergency hypnosis session. That's just there on the page. Click that page and you can have it.
Yeah, great.
Go to the page. There's two things that are present. One, it asks them, do you want more stuff? Do you want 101 academic citations that show that hypnosis works? Leave me your email address.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Okay? They don't have to leave me their email address, but if they do, they're going to get 2 emails from me.
Let me interrupt you for just a second, Richard, because it's going to be time for, we need to open up for questions in a second, but I also want to let people know if you're on the phone, you weren't able to see the link that Richard just gave us. And if you're online and you're not able to see it, you just need to open up the chat box. It's down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see it says chat. It's like one of those little mouth bubbles, like in cartoons. If you click on that, it'll open up a chat window. And the last thing posted in that chat window is a link from Richard Nongard that you can click on. But for those of you who are on the phone, I'm just going to try to see if this will get through to you. It's subliminalscience.com. And it's / so after that / access the free video and audio, and all of those words have hyphens between them. So it's access the free video and audio with a / behind that, and that should get you there. I hope that helps.
Sure. And if I were promoting a private practice, I would be, richardsprivatepractice.com / try hypnosis now. And I'd have a video on there where you guide them through a hypnosis session. And then say, hey, would you like me to send you, a self-hypnosis MP3 you can practice with? Get their email address. Right. Now you're interacting with the people who visit your website. And this gives you the ability to attract new clients from the internet in a way that you didn't have before.
That is great. So let's see if somebody has a question. I also need to tell them about that. If you're online and you have a question to ask, you can open up the participants box if you haven't. Down at the bottom again, it says participants, and there's a long list of all the people that are online, and you'll also see there, if you're on the phone, you'll see phone numbers of people that are on the phone, just like what caller ID would display. But down at the bottom of that box, the very bottom of that participants box, there's a thing that says raise hand, and if you click on that, it'll let me know that you got a question, and then I can open up your mic. Now, I can't open up all the mics because there's 26, so I just one at a time. As you have questions, I can do that. If you're on the phone and you have a question, you can just push *9, and that will do the same thing. It will essentially indicate that you're raising your hand, and I'll be able to see that, and I can acknowledge you, and you'll be able to ask your question. So anybody has anything for Richard, just feel free to let us know by one of those two methods. Another choice, I suppose, would be that you could use the chat box, and down in the bottom of the chat box, just write something like, hey, I have a question, and we can...
always happy to answer any questions.
We can be aware of it that way. Yeah, well, you gave us some really great information already, and the couple of things that I'm going to take home, that awesome, awesome Tulsa, for example, is something that hadn't occurred to me. And I thought, gosh, if you build something that people will come to, and you are, you've got free advertising. If you're offering something, the community's gonna
be a part of the community if you want the community to support you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm even thinking on a smaller scale. In Orlando here, I'm in a neighborhood called College Park, and College Park has it's this lovely neighborhood of old Orlando that somehow is off of the tourist track. It kind of goes all around it. It's just north of downtown, and really quaint and sort of boutique-y. And they have, they have a business association and stuff like that. I really could do some things about the cool stuff in College Park, and new businesses opening up all the time, and different restaurants and things that are there, and feature stuff like that. And it sounds like a great opportunity.
Absolutely, and again, be a part of the community. Get a response from the community, and either join an existing community or start your own community within the community.
Mm-hmm.
But and you got to get out there. Again, the other thing is, again, this is probably why we're doing a whole day class rather than a 45-minute class at IMDHA. It's just too much to talk about. But in your website, really look at your website. Does it say I'm a professional who you should pay professional fees to? Or are you asking somebody who is considering hiring a professional hypnotist to pay professional fees to somebody who won't hire their own professional? And, I really think we need to be building brilliant websites. I've had the opportunity this past year to work with 52 different hypnotists and build 52 different web pages for hypnotists. And I think that they're all excellent websites, just like any other art project. I like some more than I like others, but they're all pretty good. And I think to myself, one of the things I really like about designing websites for other hypnotists is I think that in one way I'm contributing to the profession, because there are 52 hypnotists out there now who are representing the hypnosis industry professionally rather than through Wix or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's really important.
Yeah. Yes. Well, folks are a little shy tonight, and I noticed that happened last time. It may be a little complex for people to raise their hand, but it's really not hard. So I'll just remind you again, at the bottom of the participants window, you'll see all those names, and at the very bottom there is a little blue link that says raise hand, and that will be a way to let us know that you've got a question. But they may not have. I think people often go into trance when they listen to these hypno broadcasts, Richard. Perhaps if they've heard some of your hypnosis tapes before, they've been conditioned to the sound of your voice.
Everybody is imagining a single white puffy cloud leisurely and lazily floating across the horizon.
I had a guy who had been in my class like years ago, and then he stumbled across Patty Scott's place over in Palm Harbor one day, just driving by. He saw the hypnosis sign, and so he stopped to talk to her and found out that she was affiliated with me, and that she brought me over there from time to time to do weekend programs. And she told him, well, you ought to come by next time Michael is here. You can, you'll be more than welcome to just come as a guest and sit in the back. And he said, well, I couldn't possibly do that. And she said, well, why not? And he says, well, because every time Michael starts to talk to me,
right.
and I'm like, oh, okay.
Find that resource state we call hypnosis.
Yep. Yeah. And it may be what's happening with our audience out here tonight. So, however, it is a minute before our cutoff time. So maybe what I ought to do, Richard, is just ask you. We've tried to bring up things that I thought were important or useful. I'm wondering if there's anything. Oh, here, someone has asked a question in the chat room. Should a hypnotist in a local area specialize in one main service, for example, weight loss?
It seems counterintuitive, but yes, the way to get a lot of referrals for a lot of different reasons is to be a specialist or an expert in one thing. It's a lot less expensive to advertise a niche. It is a lot easier to communicate a message when you're communicating within a niche. So, for example, one of my weight loss niches has been, I only work with men who need to lose twice their body weight. It's not that I don't think other people should lose weight or whatever else, but I made the decision that's who I liked working with most. And so I really became the guy who was an expert in working with guys who were typically 44 years old. They weighed 400 plus pounds, and they'd been ruled out as a candidate for bariatric surgery for whatever medical reason. And if they didn't lose half their body weight in the next 2 years, they were probably going to die from obesity. So that's who I started to work with in weight loss in my hypnosis practice, and I loved it. And I became the guy, the expert in my area for obese men who need to lose half their weight loss or else they were going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is they would lose the weight. People would ask what would happen, and their friends would come see me for smoking cessation or weight loss, or their doctors were referring patients to me who had pain control or oncology. So I think that one of the most effective ways to market a general practice is to become an expert in a niche and to market that niche. The other thing is on a website, let's say you live in a big city, let's say you live in, I don't know, let's say you live in, Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's not real hard to be the number 1 or 2 hypnotist in the Google rankings, no matter how lousy your webpage is. But if you're in Southern California, or you're in Portland, or you're in Seattle, or you're in Miami, or you're in Tampa, you better well believe you need to be niching in order to achieve the highest Google search rankings possible, because you're a little fish in a big pond. And it is the colors you are wearing that is going to separate you from the rest of the school. So yes, I do think that we should specialize in one main service area because it's good for our business, but that doesn't mean that we don't have the opportunity to do the many other things that hypnotists do. It just gives us the opportunity to do it more effectively, I think.
Great, lovely, thanks. So listen, we're at the end of our time. If you'll just hang on a minute, I want to make these sort of closing announcements and and then say goodbye to you. Just to remind everybody, again, there are CEUs available for you for this evening if you're an IACT or IMDHA, so go out to the appropriate website and log in with your member ID, and you can fill in the form for your CEU there. Also, the recording will be available tomorrow. You can find it on the website. In fact, you can go to HypnoExpo2017.com. And at the top of the page, if you'll either pull down the conferences menu or the media menu, there's 2 different places to find it. It's under the Hypnocaster on the media menu. It's under teleconferences on the conference menu. And all of the conferences that we have done up to this point are there, so you can hear what the other speakers are here and see what the other speakers had to say and do. And next week, I am going to be talking with the infamous Melissa Tiers about working with addictions at the same time, same bat channel here on your computer. So come back and join us then. So now, Richard, I just want to tell you, it was lovely. The time went by like a arrow. I guess this is the metaphor I was trying to remember. And I really appreciated it. And now so thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing you in Daytona. And just as a way of being reckless here, I'm going to let you say some last words if you've got them, and then I'm going to unmute everybody so they can all shout out and feedback and whatever else happens before we disconnect the call.
All right, so this is kind of like the final words and last meal here.
Yeah. What's it? Leave us with
I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody in Daytona. The last couple of years, I've really enjoyed it. Last year, I was unable to make it because of some health reasons. And so I missed last year. And I'm really looking forward to being there again this year. It is, in my opinion, the funnest, most awesome hypnosis convention that I've been to, actually. So now they're all good. I mean, I enjoy them all. Willie Mitchell's, Heartland is great. HypnoThoughts is great, but if I could only pick one, IMDHA is where I would go. So,
excellent. Thanks.
So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. Plus, the location is awesome. The food is good. The people are great.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, everybody, HypnoExpo2017.com, you can also see the conference catalog. So read about the other programs that are being offered in case you haven't been to all of these things.
Lots of good presenters.
And we're going up until the end, by the way, just before the conference. We'll be putting these things out on Sunday night. But give a chance to check them out in advance, see what they are by looking at the catalog. And it's right there online for you. So, and then, of course, make your reservations with the conference headquarters. And And all you got to do after that is get on a plane and come on down, because we're waiting for you.
By the way, it cost me $39 to fly to Orlando a couple of weeks ago from Las Vegas on Frontier, and it didn't even suck. So there's no reason getting to Orlando and driving up to Daytona. You can probably get there for cheap on Allegiant or Frontier or Spirit from anywhere in the country for less than $100 if you plan ahead.
Did you fly into Orlando?
I did fly into Orlando and drove up.
Yeah.
And I've done that both on Allegiant and on Spirit. I mean, on Allegiant and now Frontier. And hey, for a couple hours, I could handle any airline. And man, it's Orlando and then driving up to Daytona is a cheap way to get to an awesome conference. So never let money hold you back. Always be a discount shopper.
All right. So everybody, the recording is going to be available tomorrow. And if you have any trouble downloading it, anything at all, just feel free to send me a note, FL Hypno. I'm in Florida doing hypnosis, so you can remember FL at outlook.com. I will be here for you. So I'm going to open up the lines and y'all can say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hi.
Presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael.
Thank you very much.
I read all the words. The structure says it's okay down there, Mommy.
Bye-bye.
Okay.